There was one night where I was left home alone by my parents. Being the little sneaky guy I am, I decided to invite my friend Dustin over. We were going to play video games until about midnight. My parents said they'd be back about midnight. So I said that Dustin could leave at midnight. I wasn't supposed to have people over, but boy was I lucky that I had Dustin there. Because if I didn't, I would have to confront the situation all by myself. And I would have been terrified out of my mind if I had to confront it by myself. Let me start from the beginning. So, yeah, we were playing video games. I don't remember specifically what game it was. I'm not gonna try to remember what game it was due to copyright reasons, but let's just say it was a video game. And we'll just say it was a shooter. So, yeah, we were playing games, and it was just 2 consecutive hours until the story started to come into place. So, we were playing video games, and we just entered a loading screen when all of a sudden, knock, 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 there's a knock on the door. Now, I was terrified, but not for the reason you think. I thought it was my parents and that they were home early. I just told Dustin to hide in the closet, and we turned off the video game and turned off the lights. And I went to the front door. To check. My parents, they would be a little upset to see me up this late, but they wouldn't flip out about it. They would flip out about it if the TV was on. They probably thought I was just staying up late reading a book. So, went to the front door. But I didn't see a parent. I didn't see a friend. I didn't see a neighbor. I didn't see someone from school. I didn't see anybody I knew. I didn't even see, a person there. Because you want to know what I saw? I saw nothing. Nothing at all. At first I thought it was just a ding-dong ditcher, so I just decided to roll with it. So, yeah. So, I told Dustin that it was just a ding-dong ditcher, and he said, why would that be? This neighborhood is so calm. There's literally, no children that live in it, and every child's born to be raised better than the ding-dong ditch at night. So that got me a little weird, but I just thought that there's probably someone from outside the neighborhood that was probably just on a ding-dong ditch spree for God knows why. So we went back to playing our game. A couple minutes later, knock, knock, knock. There's a knock at the door again. Alright, these ding-dong ditchers are committed to their job, because they've managed to stop by our house twice. So, I went to go check again. This time, I stepped outside a little bit and scanned the front yard. Nothing. So, I just thought that it would be fine. I thought it would just be fine. So, yeah, I went back in the room and told Dustin it was still a false alarm, for God's sake. So, we just went back to playing video games. So we decided we weren't going to answer the door if it happened again. Knock, knock, knock. There it is again. This time it got a little louder. It was almost a little bit of banging. I could hear somebody breathing, but it didn't sound like a regular breathing. It sounded like some kind of person that had an oversized nose that was getting caught in their breathing. But it freaked me out because it just sounded odd. Paranormal odd almost. But I still thought it was a ding-dong ditcher just trying to sound weird to freak us out. So I just decided not to do it. The door knocked at least 3 more times, each time getting louder, before it turned into a full-on banging. The door was banging really loudly, and it was starting to seriously freak us out. So we went to the front door, and we were pretty mad, actually. We still saw nothing. Alright, at this point, we were furious. We just wanted to stop, get it over with. We just decided that we were going to go to bed. But then we thought about it again. We were just going to play video games. You know what? Forget that. But we were going to ignore it. Luckily, the game was silent at this moment, or else I wouldn't have heard it. But there was another knock. This one at the back door. That freaked us out. So, we thought nobody ever knocks on the back door. I got scared, actually. I thought it could be an intruder at this rate. I told Dustin to go check the back door and I'll watch the front door. We were both watching both doors. About 10 minutes after just stalking both doors, Dustin let out a scream of horror. He said he saw movement coming forwards, but then darted backwards after noticing Dustin. We seriously thought that someone was going to break into our house. We decided we wanted to investigate before we called the cops. Dustin tried to persuade me just to call the cops. So we did. We gave the cops a call. They searched the entire house. We told them to search the backyard, search the woods behind our yard, search everywhere, search the front yard, search the garage, search everywhere. They found nobody. Alright, that was freaky. So the cops left, and we continued. We were just sitting in my room, trying to listen for any more knocks. Nothing came. It was about another hour of sitting in silence until we heard something like break. It came from inside the house. Alright, Dustin and I were literally flipping our poop over this. Because this was horrifying. I wish my parents were here, but unfortunately, they weren't supposed to be back for another 3 hours, so if I got lucky and this intruder didn't check my room for another 3 hours, I'd be perfectly fine, but other than that, we're gonna die. Because they're obviously gonna check every room. They're gonna check every corner of the room. Because they know that someone's here. Because they clearly saw Dustin. So they obviously are going to scan the house everywhere to try to find us. We barricaded the door. Literally with both of our chairs. We pulled the bureau up to it. We took the stand with the TV on it, and we even put that up against the door. This guy ain't getting into our room. We also took a little bit of precaution of barricading the windows. It's not like if this guy wasn't carrying a ladder, he'd be able to get in. So, yeah. So, we thought we were safe. We heard the creak of the floor in the hallway right next to my room. Dustin and I kept as quiet as possible, knowing that we were most likely safe barricading the door. So, we decided to keep calm. The door knob started to rattle, though. It kept rattling and rattling and rattling for about 30 seconds. And then it disappeared. And then whoever it was attempted to bring the door down with his shoulder. I heard a big thump on the door, which set my heart racing and most likely Dustin's. I literally felt like my heart went into my throat as I was choking on screams and sobs, attempting to hold them back. It was a horrible experience. I was getting pretty scared. And I don't know about Dustin, but he was probably getting scared too. I don't know. He says he's overly brave from time to time, but he will also admit to being scared. He's not that kind of egomaniacal guy that will say, "Oh, I'm not scared of anything." The door thumping went on for about 5 minutes, and then it came to an abrupt stop. I just felt glad it was over. I opened the door, and I attempted to scan the hall for anybody. I looked around, saw nothing. I took a step down the hallway, and that was when the most horrifying experience in my life happened. The intruder came from one of the doorways and was standing less than 20 yards away. But it was no intruder. This was a paranormal creature. It was completely pale, with a huge forehead, with deep black eyes, no pupils, no nothing, just black eye sockets, and a terrifying mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth. It had arms that were longer than its entire body. At least 63% of them were just dangling on the floor. The legs were crazy long too, but they weren't as long as the arms. And boy, those claws really got me. I raced back to my room faster than a race car. We barricaded the door and we heard banging, and along with those nose breathing we heard before, followed by some creepy snarls, some scary breathing, panting, lots of panting. We heard some creepy noises, and then he said in the most terrifying voice ever, "You can't hide for long." And then the back door opened. I heard my mom's voice, and the creature was never to be seen again. I never saw the creature after that. I did get caught with Dustin, and I was 3 months. I told my mom about everything, and she said that it was gonna be 5 months, but she reduced it just because she felt bad for if I were to be alone. So, yeah, I would have been terrified if I was alone, but luckily I had Dustin by my side. So guys, do you have any creepy stories you want to tell me? You could post them in the comments down below. Post them down in the comments. You can make them as long or short as you want. They can involve people, they can involve creatures, they can involve anything. They can be made up. You can make one up. They can be real. If you've ever encountered something scary that you'd like to share, you can share that too. And I'll probably make a top 10s video featuring creepypastas that people have shared. Make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.